So hello again to the participants who are already here on the program, and hello to the people who are going to be watching and listening later. I'm going to start the slideshow here and um, do the deep dive for this evening. So I am Lynn Clifford, and I want to just welcome everybody here this evening. This is Moving On with Choice, and officially titled Moving On with Choice in 2024, but we can make it for any time of the year at all. So let me just see if I can get the view. I'm going to do the full screen. There we go. So I'm just going to invite everybody to take a deep breath, including myself. You might even take a few. My name is Lynn Clifford, and you can find out more about me at lynclifford.com. And I wanted to put this little event on here this evening because choice has been such a powerful part of my life. I've been probably setting goals and envisioning the kind of life I wanted for about 40, 35 to 40 years since I was a whippersnapper. And visioning has always been a really important part of my life. And so I've taken some of the tools that I've learned and just want to give everybody like a little bit of a taste this evening. I want to comment though that, for some of us, living from a place of choice and living from a place of questioning what's possible in our lives is a fairly well adapted muscle. It's something we're very familiar with. We try to practice in our lives, if not every year at the new year, maybe even throughout the year or on a daily basis. And for other people, the concept is going to be kind of new and unfamiliar, and it might even be a little bit uncomfortable. So I want to just let everybody know that there's space for all the possibilities of where you are in range of kind of empowerment in choosing the life that you want, creating the life that you want. I do consider this evening a taster. As I started getting going with the slides, I got I had so much information that I could put out, and it's just very exciting. There's so many neat things to share, but I kind of cherry picked a couple things tonight that I hope will be helpful for you, supportive for you. And if you have any questions or anything after the slides are over, after you've listened to the recording or whatever, please feel free to reach out to me, Lynn at lynclifford.com. Any questions or comments, and I welcome feedback too. So to start out with, I want to just say that there's no right way to do this course, if you will, this taster course. There's no right way or wrong way. There's just your way. So whatever that is, whatever I say, offer, ask, I want to put out the caveat that you can choose what you want to do with it. You can take it, you can leave it, you can consider it, you can tweak it and reinterpret it for yourself. So really personalize it for yourself. And that includes also literally as you're listening to this, the call, that you might need to stop. You might need to change. You might need to mute it. You might need to get up and move around. You might need to come back to it. It might not be for you. Whatever it is, just take care of yourself. Keep asking yourself is potentially the invitation. Keep asking yourself what you need and what you want. That's going to be a real big key through all of this evening. For the folks on the call this evening, I had suggested that you bring some paper with you, maybe some simple art materials. For some of you, you may just want to sit back and relax. Regardless of how you do it, exactly, it'll be just yours. So enjoy your process. There are plenty of techniques and approaches to visioning and creating. So feel free to ask for resources or look up resources about that, but you'll find your own way with that. One of the things I want to start with is just by saying that choice is such a privilege. I was thinking about that tonight and getting ready for this call. Like, it is such a privilege to be able to have choice.
In progress.
A big shout out to choice, right? I can find to meet. There. Let's try that again. I think that was a big shout out. We'll just consider that a little a little sparkle in our recording there. So, yeah, just what a privilege it is, right? Like to be able to choose. And we're going to talk about different kinds of choices along the way as well. So, Karen, I'm going to mute you again. You're going to need to stay muted so I don't have the feedback. There we go. All right, there we go. Good. All right. So, without further ado, let me move on through my fancy slide presentation because I really had a good time getting into this over the next couple days. I want to thank Beth Bryce, who's on the call here, for this quote that she sent me in an email. Yeah, in response to tonight's call. Our superpower is choice. It gives rise to your entire reality. Just love that, right? And we're going to talk about the different kinds of kind of reality too, right? So choice equals change. If we have choice, we can change things. If we're not at choice, if we don't engage choice, then we aren't creating our reality. But there are different kinds of kind of climates, if you will, that we can play around with choice with and therefore change with. So the main ones that I came up with, and you can see if you have any extras, but the main ones I came up with are overt and covert. I talked about that a little bit in my latest newsletter, which was this idea that, overt patterns and things in our life that we choose, that's one thing. But there are also choices that we sometimes make that we don't even realize we're making. Everybody probably knows that famous saying about the definition of insanity is expecting the same or doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So sometimes, unless we can really zoom out and look, that's that macro lens, we don't even realize that we're recreating certain patterns in our life. So there's overt and kind of covert patterns that we can explore having choice with once we have awareness. There's inner and outer choice. So what I mean by that is that I could make a choice, for example, about what I had for dinner this evening, or what phone call I made on a certain day, or what career path I go down, education, that kind of thing, how I choose to respond to someone. Those are outer choices, but there's also inner choices, which is my mood, which would be my mood. For example, if I'm feeling really defeated on a given day, there's actually this beautiful choice point if we just can give ourselves a moment. We can really shift our attitude and our perception and our thinking. It can be tricky at times, but it's also about rewiring and neuroplasticity. And then there's micro and macro perspective where we can have choice. I can make small choices. Like yesterday, I've been thinking about joining a gym. So yesterday, instead of making it this huge ordeal, like I had to figure out what plan I was going to sign up for and commit to 5 days a week at like 2 hours a day or whatever, I was like, you know what? That one gym I could check out is right next to the Trader Joe's. I'm just going to like step in the door. So there's like micro choices, right? Like little micro choices. And I'll tell you all a secret if you don't already know it. Often those micro choices are what set us up for success, not the really big ones. Sometimes it's nice to have a big roadmap, right? You want to know where you're going, but you also might want to know where some of the pit stops are along the way. And that helps make the path more sustainable. So those are some of the areas. And there's, of course, short-term choice, mid-term, and long-term. Things we make in the moment. And can be kind of fun where visioning is concerned too. Again, get that roadmap concept going. So here's where it really starts to get interesting. Choice doesn't really happen unless we have some sort of question or consideration in our, might be our full awareness. It might not be something we're really that aware of. It might be quite a whisper or a quiet kind of awareness. But the role of curiosity, this is just such a valuable one. And I forgot, I wanted to put on, oh, I have really fun glasses I wanted to put on this evening for you all. What did I do with them? I think Pip is sitting on them, or where did they go? Oh, well, another time. Oh, there they are. I don't know why I want to put these on with the role of curiosity. Maybe it's just to keep you all really interested, but you see how sparkly they are? Aren't those fun? So the role of curiosity, I wanted to put them on the beginning, but there we go. The role of curiosity is so valuable in our lives. Hi, Colleen. And so that's something to just consider. Like if we can stay in, say, for example, question, asking, and then allowing as part of co-creation. So there's a little bit of quantum physics involved here, right? Asking, but not necessarily needing to know how. Asking and staying in the question, staying receptive, staying open, and allowing the answers to show themselves to us, reveal themselves to us, and moving on. That is co-creation and collaboration with whatever you want to call it. You could call it the divine, you could call it the universe, you could call it God or goddess, any, whatever your orientation is, right? But that's what creates such an amazing space of possibility and potential. When we try to control things, ask questions, perhaps, if we're really lucky, and we remember to ask questions, but then we try to come up with the answer, we're often actually blocking the possibilities and the potential. Now, sometimes answers do come, right? Clarity comes, and we get a yes or a no or a maybe or a this direction or a that direction or this step or that step. Those things are great. But you probably all know what it feels like at some point in your life that you've had, what we could loosely call flow, that flow state where things happen organically and they're spacious and profoundly wonderful, sometimes profoundly simple, but they just are connected. So that it's a different, there's a different element of space and spaciousness and ease that comes with that versus the trying to figure everything out, which I am like the captain of, the queen of, by the way. I know all about trying to figure it all out. And it's a really different energy when in that space of kind of trust and faith. I see Beth nodding her head. Yeah, she knows it. So just that not needing to know how, just, not needing it to be perfect. I might also add in that it doesn't need to be intense, right? Like it can just be, So the first question for this evening, for you to just muse with or to journal with. If you are using paper, have a journal or a notebook, one of the things that I might suggest that's been handy for me in the past is to write the question at the top and then leave the page like I'm going to give you just a couple minutes here to journal or consider this, but go ahead and leave it blank when we move on so that you can come back and do a deeper dive. Because as I said, this is just a taster tonight, just dipping your toe in the water. But just kind of without really thinking about it too much, just free form. Feel the support of the surface that you're in right now, the chair, the couch, the bed. Feel that support. Feel the weight of your beautiful body. And just letting yourself sink in a little deeper, drop in a little deeper here this evening to receiving this gift. Just consider that question. Where are you creating your life from? And I put a little caveat at the bottom, if you let go of should, could, and would. And this is just to give you a little pulse check for where you are right now. You might not even feel like you are creating your life right now. The question might feel a little big for you in that way. So we could even start with, are you creating your life right now? Are you choosing to create your life? And then the where. Where are you creating your life from?
Don't do it. What is
Get into that for a moment for yourself. Take some deep breaths and feel that support that's under you and behind you and around you. And the next layer of the question might be, where would you like to create your life from if it's different than it is right now? And like I said, you can come back to the recording later and pause if you want to, or come back to those journal pages or sketches you might be playing with or something like that and continue later. The next question is when, where, you could say and or how, can you be kinder with yourself? Choice, being able to have a choice point, asking questions, receiving the answers comes from a certain level of tenderness with ourselves and our vulnerability of sometimes feeling very fragile in this life, sometimes feeling very strong and powerful. But when, where, and how can you be kinder to yourself? We're going to talk about receiving towards the end half of the class. And that really starts a lot with creating a space within ourselves to be gentle with ourselves, to be kind, to be tender. And I put down a little caveat. I just love this picture of this little boy, that little smile. So versus making yourself wrong or comparing to others, and sometimes we do that inadvertently. We don't even mean to. So that could be a great question. Like, am I making myself wrong right now? I'm sometimes surprised with how I say yes, how often I say yes. I didn't even realize I was doing it. And also comparison, right? The gym thing, the whatever, fill in the blank with whatever your path is in life, how easily we go to comparison. We tend to do that. I think it's because our eyes are like on the outside of our head, We're always looking out at other people. And then moving on to the next one here. These are a number of questions here. I'm gonna give us a few more minutes with these. I just kind of decided to put them all in one slide because I thought they kind of went together to me energetically. They felt like they went together. But when, where, and how do you block choice in your life? Like, do you even realize you have choice? Right? That might be a place to start. But if you do realize you have choice and you're working on operating your life and your perspective from that, is there a particular situation, relationship, circumstance where you might block yourself from that? And another way that could look would be like, oh, I have to, or I should, right? The shoulds, coulds, and woulds. It's those spaces that we can get trapped in, get stuck in. So just consider if there's any area of your life, internal or external, could be self-judgment, could be external, internal, doesn't matter. And I liked this open-ended question. What needs to change in order for you to be, and you notice I capitalized be, and then fill in the blank. And related to change, sometimes what needs to change is what needs completion. I'll add in there forgiveness in order to move on. Is there someone or something or situation that needs completion? It might be a simple task. It could be something as simple as that. Or it could be something far more dimensional, deeper, right? An area of our life where we felt really hurt or paralyzed. That might need movement might need something to catalyze change. So considering those questions for a moment, and particularly these because they're pretty powerful in my opinion, is to really feel the support for a moment of the surface that you're in contact with. You might, if you have a sweet animal in your lap, you might feel the weight of that animal in your lap. Feel your back resting. Check to see if you're comfortable. Do you need to readjust your pillows? Do you need a drink of tea or water? Do you need to get up and stretch for a moment? Just tune in for a moment. So while this is a taster, it also has the potential to go quite deeply if you desire. So pulse check for yourself, asking yourself what you need in this moment. So zooming out for a second here, I was kind of making up a little list of what has helped me be successful with goals in the past, and other people that I know have, had visioning in their lives and led a choiceful life. And these are kind of the three poppers that really stick out. And I italicized these kind of words to make them more action oriented. Because I think one of the things that's really easy for us humans to get into is a very linear path, and that there's an end, right? That there's goals, like I'm going to set this goal, it's this goal, and then it's going to be done. I'm going to just do it. It's actually, for me, I mean, I have experienced that at times, but living of life is not linear. Living of life is very circuitous at times, very unexpected and predictable at times, and which is part of the magic, and also part of the challenge at times. It isn't a script, it isn't a recipe. So just considering like maintaining as an active action type of word, both your macro and micro perspectives. So that's the zooming out and zooming in, to look at the details and then to zoom out and look at the larger roadmap. To continuing to ask questions, that's the part around asking questions every day in every way that you possibly can, and finding little tricks to help yourself to remember to do that too. That really helps me. And practicing as an action gratitude, which we're going to explore more in this last half. So there's that's not everybody's cup of tea, but there's a resource that I've really benefited so much from, called Access Consciousness. A few others of you on the call know about it as well. And it's a program about really changing thinking for me. And one of the things I've learned about this in other areas of my life, but most recently from Access Consciousness in really powerful ways, is this idea of dropping barriers. And we could call those defenses, we could call those walls, we could call those protections. But right now, like, just do this little mini experiment with me. You can absolutely choose to keep any barriers, caution, suspicion, anything you have like that up right now. Like, you can actually just tune in and like notice. Like, for some people, it's just god awful to be on Zoom, for example. Or listening to recording can get boring, or whatever, any number of reasons, life. So just notice, like, feel where you might have protections, or it just that little bit of bracing. Like, I even notice with winter, like cold, right? I brace. My shoulders get a little tight, just notice in your body, in your mind, in your energy field right now, anywhere that you might be protecting. And by all means, continue to protect if you choose, because sometimes that's what feels appropriate. But in this moment, I want to give you a choice and remind you that you have a choice, actually, and just ask you the question, what would it be like in this moment just to drop your barriers. You could drop them just like 1%, 0.1%. You could drop them 75%. You could drop them 95%, 110%. Whatever it is, to the extent that you're willing and able to do that right now, I'm just going to invite everyone who's willing to just soften and relax and drop your barriers. If you're safe in this moment, physically, mentally, emotionally, just see what it's like to soften. And I have some things to kind of help us with this a little bit and see. Most of us on here, I believe, are animal lovers. If you're not, you can replace it with something else. And I'm going to show you a picture. I just want to show you a picture of this dear being. And you may have your own beings in your life, right? Your own animals in your life, or your own sweet ones in your life, whatever they are, whoever they are. And I'm just getting teary just looking at this and even thinking about it. Like, just notice what it's like to soften right now, to the extent that it feels safe for you, it feels comfortable for you. And just notice what it's like. Noticing the sunshine, the greenness, that little being, all of 11 pounds. I happen to know her personally. And what she embodies. And I'm going to show you another picture for the horse lovers here. These are two horses grooming each other. We do this mutual exchange. I wanted to include something. I tend to choose pictures sometimes that are solo. Like I'm an only child of only children. And I've learned a lot in my life about support and asking for support and witness and receiving and exchange. And I realized, oh yeah, I need to put like two in as well, right? Like what's that's like to have exchange with another being of some kind that feels safe for you. So these are two horses receiving and giving to one another. It's a beautiful kind of yin yang exchange circle, isn't it? So just feeling what that energy is like. If you can just sense the energy of that. These are wild horses. This is a herd of wild horses that's in Arizona that a friend of mine took this picture of. So they're wild, feral horses out in wide open space, completely expanded energy in the zone with each other. And then here's one of nature. And I'm going to play this little video for you. So turn your sound up if you have it. It's just a quick few seconds, but I want you just to experience what the energy of nature is like with receiving. I'm going to play that one more time because it's so short. That's like receiving the breeze, receiving the sunshine, receiving that exchange, chlorophyll, oxygen, the nourishment from the soil. And so just see for a moment if you can feel what that feels like in your body, as if you were nature, as if you were those Queen Anne lace bouquets, if you were that pup. And here's another prompt for you to either meditate with or to journal about, do art. What do you appreciate about yourself and or the last year? And just notice if that question, if you pop up into your head, if you pop up or you pop out a little from what I hope was a very nourishing, sweet pictures and video. Just notice if you can kind of carry through that energy, that sweetness. And I asked earlier about kindness with yourself. When, where, how could you be kinder with yourself? Perhaps this is a moment where you could be kinder to yourself. Most of us are not practiced at appreciating ourselves. So take a moment now. Maybe you're really skilled at it and you're a rock star where it's concerned. That's awesome. Do even more. And if you're not practice, if it feels weird, if it feels uncomfortable, just try sticking your little pinky toe in. So what do you appreciate about yourself and or the last year? And again, you can come back to these later. You can continue to flesh these out. But right now we're kind of doing popcorn style, real quick, kind of bypassing the intellect a little bit if we can. Here's a big, beautiful one. Take a deep breath here. Oh, how are you receiving? How are you receiving you? And how are you having you? And this might even be more of an energy, right? It might not be intellectual. It might be more somatic in your body. It might be more energy experience. And you can also notice, like, if you don't feel like you're receiving or having you, that's information. You can just stay curious about it, right? Go back to the question, like, I wonder how I could receive myself more. How could I have more of me? Again, feel the support underneath you, behind you. I'm going to have a sip of water. I I don't really love, I guess, the term success. It feels like it's really loaded. But hopefully you can take it with a grain of salt. So what creates success, right? And by success, I mean something that is very personal for you. I don't necessarily mean outside merit or medals or accolades or money or boats or houses or whatever, although those things are super cool. And sure, let's have those too, right? But like for yourself, like a sense of, I've got me, right? I think that's maybe what I mean by success. So I could even add the question in here, like, what is success for you? Or what other word could you use that would embody um, and elicit that sensation for yourself? The title of this class is Moving On with Choice, right? For me, a lot of success is about remembering that I have choice and that I can choose. There's a great statistic that there are 31,536,000 seconds in a year. There are 262, oops, I did the numbers wrong there, I think. 260, I think I put too many zeros. I'm just bending space and time. Don't worry about me. I think the number was supposed to be 262,800 seconds in a month. But I added extra zero because I'm a choice. Why not? Let's just go to spacious timelessness, shall we? Going back to quantum physics. Okay, now I know this number is right. So in a day, 86,400 seconds. One of the great questions they ask of Latin Access Consciousness is, what are you choosing in this 10 seconds? You all chose to be here tonight. What are you choosing? What are you choosing? What are you choosing? What are you choosing? And that goes back to that micro macro element, right? Yeah. What am I choosing? How am I choosing to experience this moment? How am I choosing to experience what I might label as a tragedy? How am I choosing to experience what I might consider a glorious moment of success? What am I choosing? What am I choosing? What am I choosing? So that what creates success for me is remembering that I'm a choice. And I do want to talk just a little bit about success as far as like creating a vision or goals are concerned. I did do a little bit of research about that. It says that some of the research that I saw said people with goals are 10 times more likely to quote unquote succeed. Fill in whatever that means for you, right? Again, I don't love that word, but people with goals are 10 times more likely to succeed. Da 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 da. 92%, according to the University of Scranton, some research that they did, 92% don't achieve their goals. Now, I wonder why that is. I wonder if it has to do with choice. I do believe that there are some other things involved in helping set us up for success, quote unquote, in life and creating our vision in the world. I have plenty of ideas about that, and I am available for support for that, as there are some other wonderful resources. If I don't feel like the best fit for you, I am happy to help you try and find some resources that might be a good fit. I know some really cool people and programs. So one of the things that's been proven is people that set actionable tasks and report the progress to a supportive friend or mentor achieve their goals 40% faster than those who had written goals but did not formulate a plan or have commitments like action commitments and accountability. So, and again, I think accountability can be kind of a scary word, but there's something about witness, right? That's just so powerful. Witness is so powerful. I don't consider myself a particularly religious person, but there's a quote in the Bible that I'm going to loosely interpret as wherever two or more are gathered, there is a prayer. And I'm very roughly translating that. But I love this idea that wherever two or more are gathered, right? Because attunement and um, feeling attuned with, being seen and being seen and getting gotten. I think it's Porges. It does some work around the nervous system and so on. Talks about the importance of this for regulation of our nervous system, co-regulation, when we feel safe and secure and we can drop our barriers and receive and ask those questions, or ask those questions in order to get to the place where we feel safe enough to receive. Those are such beautiful, beautiful moments. And there's so much available for us. So much available for us. So, what are 1 to 3 sources for support? So, this is one of our final inquiry questions for this evening. And you could just start with one. It could be one simple thing. The other morning, I woke up and I checked in with my body and I needed to drink more water. It could just be staying hydrated. It could be as simple as that. Or it could be something really profound, like maybe you would like to sign up for a program. Maybe you would like to sign up with a coach or a mentor, or do some work. Look at your life a bit. Do some review. Maybe it's that if you have horses, you need to get out to the barn and groom your horse, or snuggle with your kitty, or it could be macro or micro. That's what we're saying. It could be an internal thing, it could be an external thing. The important thing is that it feels connected for you and it comes from that sense of spaciousness. And I want to just also remind people, I put down on the slide here, though, that it can be people that feel attuned and aligned with you, that challenge you in good ways. It can be beings like animals. We have so many four-leggeds in our lives that we love and adore. Winged ones, whatever it might be. It could be ancestors. I have a couple very special ancestors that I call on occasionally for help and guidance. It could be entities if you're into that kind of thing. It could be fairies from the fairy realm. Whatever works for you. But also, kind of pulling from the 12-step tradition, recovery 12-step tradition, they talk about people, places, and things, right? That it's important not to put yourself in situations, people, places, and things that are going to make you say, for example, drink again if you're trying not to drink or whatever. But I would say the same is true for like what kind of life you want to have, people. Who are you surrounding yourself with? What are you surrounding yourself with? Choose, ask questions, choose. It's so much fun. And remember the co-creation part, right? Curiosity. I'm going to go back to that slide because I just love it so much. Where's my curiosity slide? Let me see. This one, the role of curiosity, asking and allowing is co-creation. Because there's something that is us, but that's bigger than us, right? Always moving through everything. Whether you're a scientist and you want to call it atoms and molecules and you want to get heady about it that way, sure. But that's what creates us. Or you could get esoteric and go way out there into all sorts of cool other things. Whatever you believe, it's your gig. So 1 to 3 sources of support, just popcorn style, it would work for you. If you're not sure, again, go back to the question, what would be supportive for me? What would I like for support? What is possible for support for me? If I could have anything, what kind of support would I want? And then the last slide before I stop the recording for this evening and open up to the people who are live on the call tonight. What is a wonderful next step, full of wonder? And I like this word because it has 2 meanings for me. It could be full of wonder in that it stays with curiosity. It stays with the energy of curiosity. What is a wonderful? It's full of wonder. Like, I wonder what the next step will be, or I wonder what else is possible. Or it could just be like, it's wonderful. Oh my gosh, this is such a cool next step. I've got it. I've got clarity. And my email's down at the bottom, Lynn at Lynn Clifford. Again, as we wrap up, I just want to mention to everyone that I'm available for questions, comments, feedback, and also support. Do coaching, counseling. If you're here in Santa Fe live or visiting, I do something called Access Bars, which is a hands-on relaxation technique. And I'll be doing other cool things throughout the year as well. So be well, and I would love to hear from you. If you're listening to this recording, I would love to hear what this was like for you and any insights or questions that you might have come up with. All righty, take care. Bye for now. I'm going to find the stop record button and then I'm going to go bye for now.